Do you feel that sometimes you'd like to have better tools to become a better speaker? That sometimes you feel that it's better for you to be seen and not heard? Or that you may feel that people will think your ideas are stupid? Now, the reason I'm making this video is everybody has a contribution to make to our world. With social media, it has never been so easy to communicate and have a voice. The question is, how can we find our voice so that we can share to the world our superpower? And the reason why we need to address our voice is because if we do not care for it, how will we be able to make the world a better place? Welcome to my channel. My name is Alain Faber. I'm a high school teacher and I've been teaching science, French, and other topics for the last 20 years. I'm creating this 10-part series on how to become a better speaker as part of your work, as part of schoolwork, and to make the world a better place. As you probably can hear, English is my second language, and I've been working very hard to improve my communication skills in English. And that is one of the reasons why I have this YouTube channel. Now, French is my first language, and I've been doing very good since I was very little with all the songs and getting with friends, families, and schoolwork. What is amazing is I remember that in the high school, I was quite shy, but within a group of friends, it was much more easy for me to share stories and share experiences. And the reason for that is I was very uncomfortable to discuss and communicate in front of a large group. Even though by the end of high school, I was part of several clubs and I was even the president of one of the clubs at my high school. So the question is that yes, I could do it, and it was a matter of finding my voice and finding the courage to fight negativity. And that is the reason why I think finding our voice is so important. After high school, I went to McGill University. That was an English environment. And even though I had done English as a second language at my school, I realized that I was that I did not have the skill to communicate what I wanted to communicate. And it is something that I've been keeping in mind ever since I've taught French as a second language in my high school. And even science. Keep in mind that when the students and when people come to you, they have a huge amount of knowledge, perspective, love for themselves and the world. The question is sometimes we do not have the vocabulary or the skills to communicate our thoughts or the skills to communicate what we mean. And I know that because as a French immersion teacher in my science class, I have students that are doing great. But when I hear them in their English presentations for the English class or part of the debate team or at an assembly in front of the crowd, that's when I realize that I see just a fraction of what my students can do. And that means that in society, I only see a fraction of what people can do and what they know. The best way to make it better is to make people realize that they have a voice and find the confidence and the courage to use their voice to make the better world. Now, I know that in a second or third language or fourth language, it is sometimes very hard. There are a lot of immigrants here in Canada and they have to learn 1 or 2 extra languages, and they're coming here with the knowledge base of, I don't know, 2, 3, sometimes 4 other languages. And the reason why I say that is by the time you find your voice, the more you find the confidence by using fewer words to communicate what you want. And if you feel challenged enough, people will think, I will take on that challenge to find the vocabulary so I can communicate with others what I know and what I mean. And that's what it means to find your voice. Something that I realized that if you do not use your voice, other people will use theirs to get what they want. And sometimes you can get to the back burner. So here the idea is when you are in an environment where you are not sure how to use your voice, start with a small group of people. Keep in mind that if you were hired or you join a group, we're all here to learn. Now, some people learn faster than others, but still, When we're learning and it shows this progress, people will tend to be on your side all the time. An example of that is when I joined Toastmaster, and that club, when I joined, they knew that I had never done, or my biggest challenge was to speak in front of an audience of adult. And it took me a year, and I feel much more comfortable right now. But they knew that I joined the club in order to improve. Now, when you go to a work environment and you're promoted, what happens is you're promoted on the fact that you know different things and you have some good skills, but every promotion implies that you will need to learn even more, because a promotion brings new challenges, and you have to make sure that you are using your voice, because if someone chose you to be in a position, you have the right to use your voice to improve the situation in your company or in the world. And we have to make sure that when we are thinking about our voice, there's a difference between having the skills to communicate and what we know. Sometimes in French class, people will say, well, I'm not good in French. And what happened is, by saying they're not good in French, they don't speak very much, and then they feel smaller than they really are, because they feel, well, I can't communicate who I am. And you have to be mindful of that. The fact that you may not be good at something, you may want to say, well, I have a lot more to learn. And the idea here that some people get the languages much faster than others. But you have to keep in mind that if you're willing to improve and you're willing to work on your growth mindset, you can be better. So here are my 3 tips on how to find your voice and be a better speaker. My first tip is about using your vision to find that one word that gives you the energy to achieve more and find your voice. Mine is learn. I'm using my one word, learn, to learn more, to be more skilled, to communicate, or to be better at what I do as a teacher or as a YouTuber. Second, you can use your word. I can use my word to help others learn. And that is important. And I keep in mind that some people need more time than others. But keeping in mind that my one word being learning implies that I know everybody have their voice and they can, and I need to find a way to have them learn how to get their voice. My second tip is, once you have a goal, for example, find your voice, you need to sit down and decide what you can do to find your voice. For me, it was to join Toastmaster. And the reason is that by joining them, I was able to be in a safe environment to share my thoughts during speeches. And it was a safe place to receive feedback, because I knew that everybody is there to learn. So for you, you have to decide where you can where you can improve and find your voice. It could be in community clubs, it could be a group of coworkers, associations, professional associations that would allow you to find your voice and be able to contribute to our world. My third tip is about fighting the question, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work is always going to be a question. However, if you decide to take action and find ways to find your voice, you cannot lose, because you'll be progressing towards being a better person. If you try something and your voice, you don't find your voice, well, at least you know that this way was not the best way. You can ask school leaders, you can ask community leaders, Toastmasters group. If you're in a company, there might be groups within the companies that can guide you on how to find your voice within the organization. All you have to do is ask questions. If you're not quite sure about the question, would it work? Well, try to see if you can flip the question and ask yourself, what if it works? What are the possible growth opportunities? And that's what you're aiming for. So my call to action for you today is to think about how you can communicate more. So I want you to call a friend. I want you to join in a meeting. There's lots of Zoom meetings out there. I want you to go join in. And even if you don't make a comment or talk that one time, maybe after 2 or 3 or 4 times, you'll feel comfortable, because by joining in, you will learn what the culture is in a group, and you'll feel better at contributing once you feel comfortable. It could be also a meeting with a Toastmaster group. That's a possibility. But the idea here is for you to communicate or start communicating with someone about who you are and what are your goals to make the world a better place. Now, keep in mind that you might feel that it is taking risks to communicate with others. Well, it will be taking risks, because you'll have to step up, you'll have to share ideas, and it may not be as polished the first time than the second time. But as with cycling, the more you do it, the better you will be. And keep in mind that you want to stay positive, because we all want to make the world a more positive and a better place. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and click on that bell to know when is the next video on this 10-part series on how to become a better speaker. And I'm going to put here links to some videos for you, and I'll see you there.